But many of us enjoy cooking, but it's important to make sure you have the right tools.
So Vermont Knife Shop is showing you how to do it the proper way. We got Shayla Reeves there with us this morning. Shayla, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Heather and Joseph. So learning so many new things today, and among the top of the top, Joseph Reuter here to explain the ins and outs of what you need to know 101 with your knives. So for starters, people don't realize that if their knife is not properly sharpened, they are losing flavor in their food.
Yeah,
yes.
They end up smushing.
Yeah. And so you were talking about that just a little bit ago. Show me what we're talking about here. What will happen if your knife is not properly sharp?
So one is sharp, one is dull. From there, they probably look the same. These are Quai Sabatiers out of France, just lovely knives. But if it's dull, it's going to like bruise and maybe crack, right?
Yeah. And then in some cases, you see all the juice land on the cutting board, and that's flavor you're losing in the food.
Yeah, I actually clean this one off, whereas if you cut now, right, there's a lot of joy there.
Yeah, and so there's flavor and there's taste that you're able to maintain if your knife is properly sharpened. How do people know if their knife is or is not properly sharpened? You were saying there's an easy test you can do here.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be discerning about, like, how did that feel? If you're looking for some instant feedback, you can put it on, see how it's kind of tearing versus cutting.
Wow.
And if you can get a little bit of a S curve, yeah, it's pretty sharp.
That's how you know your knife is properly sharpened for what you need to do.
Yeah, versus this, right? Like it's just gonna tear.
Right. And so this is a business concept. It came to mind for you. A lot of folks during the pandemic, they kind of find themselves maybe in the kitchen a little bit more, cooking more, things are closed. You found yourself in that situation and you're looking at your knives.
Boy, did we cook. We drank all the great wine and we cooked a lot right at the beginning. And my knives were dull to begin with. I didn't want to learn how. I wanted one tap on the internet and a box to show up. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And along the way, I picked up learning how to sharpen knives versus like sourdough.
And essentially you are bringing joy back into the kitchen for folks that are learning about the value of knives and the proper knife in the kitchen. Coming up in the next half hour, AJ and Heather, we're going to be doing a little cutting here. Tell us about what we're going to try next.
I would love to talk about some watermelon. Most of the time persons will shy away from a longer knife. And watermelon season's coming up and that longer knife will help a lot with that. And maybe we get into a pineapple or a melon as well.
And we'll talk about the knife selection, the techniques, what you need to know to make sure you're getting that proper cut, especially headed into the summer months. Heather and AJ?
Yeah.
Do your knives do that?
No.
There's
no S curves in mine. But I am looking forward to the watermelon, though, because I do cut a lot of watermelon, and I've been doing it wrong for years.
Yeah, for years. I think a lot of people have. Shayla, we'll check in with you later.
Any chef will tell you that having sharp knives is very important.
Well, there's a shop in Edina that's focused on making sure you have the right knife for every situation. Our Shayla Reeves is live at Vermont Knife Shop. Shayla, the owner certainly knows more than a thing or two about knives, and apparently we've all been cutting watermelon wrong.
That is the case, and he's been showing us some of those techniques, especially with summer coming up. Joseph Reuter here to explain a little bit about when it comes to watermelon, what do people need to know when it comes to their knives?
Yeah, well, all foods grow in circles. So the goal is how do you make it easier to eat and work with? And so sticks and cubes is something we talk about here on a regular basis. When it comes to the knives, when some product, like food product, is longer, it's the opposite of what most people will think. Like, can we get a short knife, right? And a lot of what you're going to do when you're cutting is decide what you're going to accomplish at the end, okay? So most of the time persons will go into a watermelon thinking about triangles, right? But in this case, we're going sticks, and then you're going to be able to get to a point where you've got something awesome to set on a plate that doesn't make the hot dog run away.
And then it's easier to eat.
Oh, it's so much easier to eat.
Yes, that's a great point. And especially with summer coming up and people are going to be outside, they're going to be grilling, they're going to be barbecuing, they're going to be looking for, how do I get more on that plate?
We're going to want some sticks.
Yes, and tell us about the pineapple here and what people need to know when it comes to the cutting.
Yeah, so again, you want to get it to sticks, but it's spiky. And what we'll do, whether it's a pepper or something else, really thin blades help make this easy. Just cut the top off, cut the bottom off, and then like a melon, you're able to hold the knife to the side and cut the spiky parts off.
Okay.
Right? And if you can get the spiky parts off, you can get to the tasty parts on the inside, right?
And talk about quickly, why is it so important to use the proper knife length for the food that you're
Oh, sure. Most of the time, folks will want something short, but you're not able to start and use the blade shape to make the cut. If you're going short, you have to use your wrist. Some of that comes when you're holding the knife. If it's in a hammer motion, all the action comes from your wrist. But if you grab it closer to the blade, you're able to slide the food in a different way.
Got it.
Right? Slide through the food. And I don't know about you, but I would be chasing this pineapple inside the fruit tray at the summer barbecue.
I know. You're making everybody hungry right now. Heather and AJ, I'm going to send it back to you.
Wrong way.
But
good to know. All right,
it would
Shayla.
be great to have just that one little piece right there,
One little
Shayla, the
piece.
pineapple. Okay, thank you.